Welcome to a program MA in Gandhi and Peace Studies, and today I'll be talking about a particular course Introduction to Research Methods MGPE 015. So in this course I'll be covering in part 1 and part 2 I'll be talking about what is the difference between physical sciences and social sciences, origin of social sciences, objective of social research, meaning and definition of social research, why doing social research or main objective of social research, how research is conducted, purpose of research and conclusion. So this particularly when you talk about social science, actually social science became discipline all especially in industrial countries like Europe in 19th century. Economics, anthropology, sociology, psychology, they have root in industrial society. Origin goes beyond up to Aristotle also, but the academic discipline emerged in 19th century, and some of the discipline actually came in 20th century. Social science emerged as discipline in 19th century, especially in universities, institutes across Europe. Then it has spread to other parts of the globe. But in 19th century also you see other disciplines, physical sciences also became discipline in universities. We heard about universities are in fact existed much before some of the social science discipline. Oxford University has almost 1000 years old, Nalanda and all. But when you talk about social science, it came very late as a discipline. Economics, sociology, anthropology all came in 19th century. Some came even in 20th century. So what is the major difference between physical science and social science? Physical science especially deal with the nature, including rocks, weather, stars, fire, species and ecology. Social science studies those issues close to humans. For example, economics, history, society and mind, the psychology of mind, human being, all these are studied by social science. But the major difference between physical science and social science is physical science deals with something little static, like rocks or many things are little bit static compared to the human being, which is more dynamic. If you see the social science as a term, it first appeared in 1824 in a book called An Inquiry into the Principle of Distribution of Wealth by William Thomson. William Thomson was a very renowned political philosopher from Irish, and he was critiquing the society from the point of view that the capitalist society has its own limitation, and he was critiquing the utilitarianism, and that's how he actually developed this term social science, which is very important to understand various social aspects of the society of that time. Social science is the branch of science devoted to the study of societies and the relationships among individuals within those societies. The term was formerly used to refer to the field of sociology, the original science of society established in 19th century. In fact, sociology is a term very much associated with the study of society. Anthropology also studies, psychology also studies various aspects, but there are also interdisciplinary engagement of each discipline. When we talk about the objective of social science research, there are two objectives which are very dominant. One is academic, where we talk about disciplines, university disciplines, and especially this aspect we understand that it is like various social activities of man, how academically we study, okay, and creating new knowledge and in fact research and all these are involved. Utilitarianism is another area where the primary goal of research, immediate or distant, is to understand social life and thereby gain greater measure of control over social behavior. This is very much important because when you talk about utilitarian research, social research, this aspect we use for policy, for marketing, for all these things. And today, if we see, this aspect is very dominant in social science. We see jobs are available in this area. People, they want what is immediate impact of this research. So lots of marketing policy. So, but P.V. Young, another very important social scientist, cautioned that social research is not concerned with practical or immediate social planning or social engineering, nor with ameliorative and therapeutic measure. It is not concerned with administrative changes, refinements, administrative purposes, nor with social reform. Actually she cautioned about this because many times you see social research are misused by various agencies. For example, somebody want to do control people, especially it happened in Western countries, America and all. They used very soft power social research, studying other society, their behavior and all, and that's how they want to change them, their mindset. So those kind of things were criticized actually because social research has a broader goal like discovering new knowledge, new paradigm shift in understanding society, those things, and mainly seeking of knowledge. But when it is used for a very narrow purpose, for administrative purpose, for controlling people, for changing the mindset, it is very bad for as a discipline, and it is harmful sometimes for society. So this is cautioned by P.V. Young. What is social research then? Social research, as P.V. Young mentioned, as a systematic method of discovering new facts or verifying old facts. New facts sometimes when you do any study, for example, you want to know about some society, how the people are behaving to particular like COVID-19. Okay, so you go there and interview 100,000 people and different section of people very systematically, from upper section, from lower section, from different gender, community, and see how their behavior, and you get some new fact. This is the section of people who are behaving differently. And also verifying old fact. Research is not always, exploratory, like always, involved with new fact, but it also verify the old fact. It is also involved with sequences, interrelationship, causal explanations, and the natural law which governs them. All these are part of social research and very important. You see how education, empower people. You see other area, means education and their income level and all this. So sometimes research, social research will help you how to find the interrelationship, how to see the causal explanation, how this causes that. Education causes development. Huh? Inequality brings underdevelopment. All those things. Livelihood promotes a better lifestyle. So these are cause and effect. The social science will help. What is social research? Social research deals with social phenomena. It studies behavior of human beings as member of society and their feelings, responses, attitudes under different circumstances. A human being, as I mentioned, is very dynamic, unpredictable. Today they behave some way, tomorrow another way. You just see the response of people when the COVID-19 came. Their behavior was different, they were very panic and all. As the time passes, people are very much acquainted with the situation, they are very normal. Even though more spread is happening, people are taking it very casual. So sometimes you have to see in a very time length how people are behaving, upon in different times. Social research is carried on both for discovering new facts and verification of old ones, as I mentioned. So verification is needed for two reasons. There may be an improvement in the technique of research and it is necessary to test the old concept, this improved technique. Many times what happens, there are theories and concepts which are actually developed 20 years back, 100 years back, like we talk about historical materialism of Karl Marx or any theory which were developed, we have to test it from time to time whether this is relevant or not. That's why we bring new theory also, new concept. Okay, so there are also phenomena under study might have undergone change and it may require to test the availability of old concept and the circumstances. In fact, sometimes in physical science we know ancient time people used to say revolves around the earth. Huh? Then Newton has changed that understanding. Copernicus has changed that understanding. Einstein's relativity brought new changes, in physical science. Same way in social science, there are a number of theories which are outdated. New theories are coming depending upon circumstances. For example, most critic of Karl Marx, who says, you're historically you're conditioned because of your material position. Today, many places it is found not necessary. If you have knowledge and other skills, you can move around the world. You don't need to have physical property. So certain theories are not relevant completely in some other circumstances. So social research will help person to actually test them. So research methods, now let me talk. Research methods are very essential for social research. It is very important to use the technique and tools where you can get data, theorize, explain the things, how they are related, all those things. Research methods are developed within the subject and outside the subject area also. Sometimes you see there are theories which are within the subject, very much part of any particular subject, psychology, sociology. There are theories and concepts which are actually caught across the discipline, even other than social sciences. So, like there is a particularly we call organism theory, that came from biology, caught across, it is used in sociology and anthropology. The functionalism, that particularly that tradition, they used that biological theory. There are theories which actually caught across discipline. There is also interdisciplinary engagement throughout the evolutionary process of this discipline. Many times you find certain subjects like migration, like gender, these are studied by scholars across discipline, from psychology, from sociology, from so then causality underlying the human activities. There are random or causal connection that studied by research methodology. Laws that govern the human interaction are very much, unpredictable. You have to study not the appearance of human being, but symbolically how they are interact. For example, many things we do, ritual, you cannot just understand why person is dancing, why they are putting certain gesture, why people are saying namaste, unless you cannot understand. So these are all symbolic and very specific to culture. Only through research methodology you will know. So this, what is social research? Let me explain. Redman Peter explained it is a systematized effort to gain new knowledge. Stephenson explained social research is manipulation of things, concept or symbol for the purpose of generating to extend correct and verifying knowledge, whether that knowledge aids the construction of a theory or in the practice of an art. F.A. Oak, he explained that research may or may not come to success. It may or may not add anything to what is already known. It is sufficient that its objectives be new knowledge or at least a new mode of orientation of knowledge. Sometimes research may not to give you very immediate result. It may not be used for society also, but for knowledge sake it is very important. Clifford Moody also explained, it comprises defining and redefining problems, formulating hypotheses or suggesting solutions, collecting, analyzing, evaluating data, making deductions and making conclusions, and at least carefully testing the conclusions to determine whether they fit the formulated hypothesis. So social science research aims at adding to knowledge of human beings about the problems which face society. Webster's dictionary further, made a very synthesis kind of explanation. It says that social research is a careful and critical inquiry or examination in seeking facts or principles, diligent investigation in order to ascertain something. Social research, in other words, discovers new facts and verifies the old ones. It does not aim at finding the ultimate truth, but helps in understanding and classifying the behavior of individual in society. Actually, no research is ultimate truth. In fact, no research always stand upon the shoulder of earlier findings. So everything is nearer to truth, but nothing ultimate, because today what seems to be truth, tomorrow it can be rejected also. So always research tries to find new things. So the main objective of research are to advance knowledge through theories, concepts. A research purpose is made through forming hypotheses, collecting data, analyzing, etc. So how research is conducted? It is through systematic investigation. A hypothesis is formed, appropriate research methods are designed, data is collected and analyzed, and research results are summarized into one or more research conclusions. So purpose of research is actually there are three major purposes. Exploratory research to be conduct problem that has not yet been clearly defined. It aims to gain an enhanced understanding of the exact nature of the problem and do not provide a conclusive answer to the problem itself. This enables us to conduct more in-depth research later on. So as I mentioned already, it is a process, always a process. It is not final, that whatever finding is final. There is no research again left. It is always, discovering new things, even rejecting the old one or verifying the old one. So this is the exploratory research, which actually exploratory research doesn't need to have a foundation. It can be a new area. It is always, having no kind of sometimes prevailing existing knowledge, and you explore. Only through help of some tools and technique you go to the field and explore. There are descriptive research, in the purpose also research, expand knowledge of a research problem or phenomenon by describing it according to its characteristics and population. Descriptive research focuses on how and what, but not the why. Especially we explain many things descriptively. Those are, need not to explain why it is happening. Whereas exploratory research, explanatory, they explain why it is happening. Explanatory research referred to as causal research, causal, it cause and effect. It conducted to determine how variables interact, especially, for example, to identify cause and effect relationship. Explanatory research deals with the why of research question and therefore often based on experiment. So especially when you talk about why education is helping people to empower, why particular thing is, two variable, three variable and their interaction. These are very important in exploratory research. Characteristic of research. It is especially, you find four different characteristics. One is empirical research based on proven scientific methods derived from real life observation and experiments. Second is logical research, follows sequential procedure based on valid principles. Cyclic research, research begins with a question and ends with a question. Research should lead to new line of questioning. In fact, many research are also like this, especially in the philosophy. People don't always try to get the answer. Rather, questioning itself is important. Then there are controlled research where you find mostly in science, biology, physics and all, because things are controlled. They are not changing too much. Even social science you find, in medical field also you find control, like testing particularly a kind of vaccine. Take a controlled measure and controlled research are done, to test a particular impact of a vaccine. Various measures put into place to keep all variables constant except those under investigation. Characteristic of research: there are hypothesis-based research. Design generates data that sufficiently meet the research objectives and can prove or disprove the hypothesis. Especially most research, especially in physical sciences, they work with hypothesis. Social science also, hypothesis means you assume certain thinking. It is before going to the field, whether this is what happening. Based on your data, you either nullify the hypothesis or establish the hypothesis. It makes research study repeatable and gives credibility to the result. For example, it can be very much important in the earlier research where already research findings are there and you are going to do fresh research based on same hypothesis, and sometimes it can be rejected also. Then there are analytical. Data is generated, recorded, analyzed using proven technique to ensure high accuracy and repeatability while minimizing potential errors and anomalies. Analytical research you can replicate also, and you can verify in other area. Sound judgment is used by researcher to ensure that research findings are valid. Then there are statistical treatment, where statistical treatment is used to transform the available data into something more meaningful from which gained. Today, if we see social science, many places statistics are valued, and you see within social science the subject which are very much in the market, very much enjoying the high status. They use lots of statistics because people actually believe that quantitative research is more superior when you can use them in policy, marketing and many other areas. That's why many places they use statistics. For example, the behavior of people to purchase particular thing, to all these things, especially when government does a policy to see its impact. Only through statistics it can be very much, through graphs, through kind of charts and all this. A very ordinary man who doesn't have disciplinary knowledge, they can understand it. Especially media and other places, we can actually disseminate the research findings very systematically through statistics. That's why economics, compared to many other other sciences, social sciences, enjoys better patronage because of its use of quantitative, especially statistics. So in this particular section, we covered the difference between physical sciences and social sciences, especially how they study different subjects, how physical science talk about especially the static subject, talk about more dynamic subject and unpredictability. Then I talked about origin of social sciences, especially which had origin from the industrial society in Europe in 19th century. Then I talked about objective of research, social research. Then I covered in that objective how research can be both academic and utilitarian. When academic is more knowledge oriented, discovering new knowledge and verifying the old knowledge, it may have direct impact on society or it may not have relevance to policy, but it is very important part of the research. But utilitarian research is, on the other hand, is very much pragmatic and very much required by the people for making immediate impact. Then I talked about meaning and definitions of social research. Various scholars, they have given the, how the social research should be and what is the main purpose of social research. Then I talked about why we should do research, and especially there are various aspect of research. People do research for personal, institutional, and national gain. People also do for academic purpose. Then how research is conducted, variety of methods I talked about, social research methods I also talked about. Then I talked about purposes of research, and with this section is over, and we'll go to the part 2. Thank you.